Après 4 années de silence radio, le XO, soit l'événement privé de Microsoft, fait son grand comeback en 2010 avec une édition qui fut organisée à San Francisco. Toute la presse internationale fut d'ailleurs invitée pour venir découvrir les prochains titres qui arriveront sur Xbox 360. Jeux Actu faisait d'ailleurs partie des privilégiés et voici ce qui s'est passé durant cette folle journée de marathon. Salut à tous, bienvenue sur Jeux Actu. Alors vous l'avez certainement remarqué, nous sommes bien à San Francisco, juste devant le célèbre Golden Gate Bridge. Alors si je me trouve ici, c'est pour vous parler du X10, l'événement privé de Microsoft, qui nous a permis de découvrir quelques gros titres sur Xbox 360. Alan Wake, Halo Reach, Fable III, Dead Rising 2 ou bien encore le prochain Splinter. Voici ce qui vous attend dans ce reportage. Mais avant de rentrer dans le vif du sujet, place à quelques belles images de San Francisco. C'est parti! Afin de nous permettre de bien découvrir l'ensemble des jeux présentés à ce X10, Microsoft avait carrément réservé un hangar découpé en plusieurs espaces dédiés. Nous avons immédiatement jeté notre dévolu sur Alan Wake, jouable à travers une grosse démo de plus de 35 minutes, mais aussi présenté par Sam Lake en personne, le scénariste du jeu, et rendu célèbre surtout pour avoir été modélisé dans le tout premier Max Payne. Il nous parle d'ailleurs de sa nouvelle œuvre.
It is a story-driven experience, and the main character, Alan Wake himself, he's a writer who is suffering from writer's block, and he has problems in his marriage, and together with his wife, they come to a vacation to an idyllic small town of Bright Falls, and but things don't go according to a plan. They take a dark turn, and Alice disappears, and Alan Wake starts to find pages from a manuscript of a novel that seems to be written by him, although he can't remember writing it, and the story starts to come true. Light is a key gameplay element in the game, and it's really an additional layer on top of the more conventional action. So the player really needs a light-based tool to survive in this game. And we have a large spread of different light-based tools for the player, different kinds of flashlights, handheld flares, flare guns. Wake's thriller novel talks about the dark presence that has woken up in this small town, and it's taking over everything in its path. And you need light to burn that dark presence away from whatever it has possessed in order to do any damage on your enemies. The thing that you might not know is that Remedy and Alan Wake do share slightly similar background. So in his past, when he was still writing, Alan Wake became famous for writing hard-boiled crime thrillers set in New York, where there was a hard-boiled cop as the main character.
Juste après, nous sommes allés voir Halo Reach, FPS pour le moins attendu, puisqu'il marque une toute nouvelle étape dans la franchise. Moteur graphique flambant neuf, scénario inédit et ambition démesurée. Pour Bungie, cet épisode est aussi une façon de faire ses adieux à la série.
Well, Halo Reach is a brand new story. It's got brand new heroes, brand new enemies. It's actually a prequel, so we're going back to the time before Master Chief, before Cortana. We're introducing a new team of heroes, the Spartans of Noble Team. And with that, it's going to come a little bit different, nuanced style of gameplay. It's a little darker tone story for us. We've rebuilt the game from the ground up, and I think it's going to be a very different Halo experience. And there's a lot of really interesting surprises and twists that we have in store for fans that we're not quite ready to talk about yet. But we're really going back and telling a different tale of honor, of sacrifice, of heroism, with a whole new cast of characters. Reach itself is a pivotal planet in the Halo fiction. The battle for Reach, we already know that the Covenant will destroy the planet. We know Reach will fall, but what we don't know is what happened on the surface of the planet. What did Noble Team do to enable Master Chief and Cortana to eventually set things into motion that would result in them saving humanity in Halo 3? So it's really interesting for us to go back to the beginning. And even though we know the whole planet's going to fall, there's a lot of great stories to tell within and how we get to that point. I think the biggest difference overall for gameplay is just scale. Everything's going to be bigger. We're looking at having over 2 times the number of enemies and weapons and vehicles on screen. I mean, this is a planetary scale epic battle, the biggest battle in humanity's history. So we really want to sell that to the player and make them believe in it. But we're going to be really careful not to really mess up that core Halo experience. I mean, fans have come to know and love it for about a decade now, and we're not looking to totally drastically change that. So at its core, it's a Halo game, but we're adding a lot more on top of it and making things just bigger, more intense, more visceral, new weapons, better effects, much higher resolution characters and models and textures and environments that you can explore. And I just think it's going to be a much more open, a much bigger, more grandiose experience.
Fable III était également présent au X10, tout comme son créateur Peter Molineux, qui nous promet un épisode basé sur l'émotion et le toucher. Sa présentation fut en effet axée sur la possibilité d'interagir avec n'importe quel PNJ dans le jeu, de façon très tactile. Prendre un enfant par la main, le serrer dans ses bras, agripper férocement un ennemi ou câliner son prochain, autant d'actes qui auront des répercussions dans l'aventure. D'ailleurs, cette fois-ci, le but sera de prendre le trône d'Albion, devenir souverain et exercer notre pouvoir. Tout un programme. S'il était possible de s'essayer au prochain DLC de Left 4 Dead 2, ou bien encore à la version américaine de Final Fantasy XIII, c'est du côté de Crackdown 2 que nous nous sommes tournés, afin de voir ce que les développeurs nous préparent avec ce jeu pour le moins explosif.
I actually tried to retain a lot of things that are similar from Crackdown to Crackdown 2. What we tried to do is kind of make it more exciting in terms of it's more spectacular. It's more there's more things to blow up. There's more things to fight. There's more variety in the enemies. So now that we have freaks, which are kind of mutated humanoid forms of enemy, we have human forms in the terrorist gangs, the Cell. We have this good contrast in gameplay where we can be really over the top with big enemies that can jump after you, and we can also be nicely gun-based where we can have simple weapon-based fights, and then also have very physical things where, very Crackdown experiences where you pick up trucks, throw them down the street, take out tens of enemies at the same time, see thousands of freaks on the street and just sort of mow them down with a rocket launcher. That kind of experience is really satisfying. We're really proud of that. We like to think of ourselves as truly open world. GTA's a brilliant game, and we have a lot of history attached to that game as well. We share a lot of commonality, but the difference that we have between a game like GTA and what Crackdown is that they're more focused on telling a linear story, and making sure that that's kind of like a directed experience for the player. With Crackdown 2, we want that experience to be completely open. We think of ourselves as a truly open world sandbox. So, we let the player decide how they want to tackle the game. If they want to try and do the most difficult mission in the game the very first time they play the game, they can, if they want to. They might not succeed, but, we're not going to stop them. And that's what people find fun in a game like Crackdown.
D'autres éditeurs ont également fait le déplacement jusqu'à San Francisco. On pense notamment à Capcom qui présentait Dead Rising 2 et Lost Planet 2, tandis que Ubisoft offrait aux journalistes la possibilité de prendre en main le prochain Splinter Cell Conviction. 3 titres qui devraient marquer l'année 2010 de leur empreinte indélébile.
The story takes place in a place called Fortune City, which is a gambling city similar to Las Vegas. Las Vegas is gone now. We have a new character called Chuck Green, who is a former motocross champion who comes to the city and participates in a show called Terror is Reality. It's like like Gladiators, the TV show, where contestants compete for money, killing zombies. We want to do something different for Dead Rising 2, and Frank West was a photojournalist. He had his camera. He was the right guy using the camera to gain PP, weapon combinations, and we figured we needed a new character, and we introduced Chuck Green for that reason. We wanted to make the sequel a more of a full Western game where the original game was done with Japanese people, and I think we did a good job of trying to make it play like a Western game. There is a link between the two games. I think you'll learn more about it very soon. We're looking into it. I know he's very popular, so yeah, it's not completely out of our minds. He's very popular within our team, so.
I wouldn't necessarily say that we've moved into a more casual direction. What I would say is that in the past, the stealth gameplay that we gave to players was, I would say, very punishing in the sense that you had to be completely invisible, or in most cases you got into big trouble, and when Sam got into big trouble, often it was a game over. What we wanted to try to give players, because in the years since the last Splinter Cell, people have this new idea or a new understanding of what an elite agent like this is able to do. They understand that he can be invisible when he needs to be invisible, and that he would prefer to be subtle, but that sometimes trouble finds him, and that when it does, he needs to be able to get out of trouble very, very quickly and aggressively. And that's where things like the mark and execute come from. It's that ability to walk around the corner, suddenly find himself discovered by the enemy, and be able to kind of quickly dispatch that enemy and then disappear. So it's not so much that it's a casual style of stealth gameplay, it's actually just a more unpredictable and kind of volatile style of stealth gameplay.
Lors de ce X10, Microsoft n'a pas manqué de nous parler de quelques-uns des titres à venir sur le Xbox Live, mais c'est surtout l'absence de jeu natal et d'une annonce telle que Gears of War 3 qui a quelque peu frustré les journalistes sur place.
Ouais, un petit peu déçu, mais je pense qu'ils veulent pas mettre tous les œufs dans le même panier et puis annoncer des choses au compte-gouttes comme ils font de plus en plus maintenant.
Ça manque un petit peu de nouveaux titres ou d'un petit jeu sorti du chapeau, à mon avis. Mais ceci dit, ce qu'on a vu là était quand même intéressant. Celui qui est le plus à retenir de ce qu'ils ont montré là, ça va être plutôt Alan Wake, je pense.
Alors l'événement, c'est vrai qu'il est bien parce qu'il est relativement ouvert, il y a beaucoup de bornes, beaucoup de jeux jouables, ce qui n'est pas le cas dans tous les événements, et puis c'est l'occasion aussi de voir les 2-3 gros jeux qui vont arriver d'ici la fin de l'année sur 360.
Mais le géant américain a une bonne raison à cela, et il garde ses plus grosses cartouches pour le 3 prochain. Soyez sûr que Jeux Actu sera là pour vous en parler.